Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'm very appreciative for you allowing me to take part in this hearing today. I have a long history dealing with private post-secondary private schools. I come from the California State Legislature, where I created a whole body of law relative to private post-secondaries and private schools based on my experiences in South Los Angeles. I ran job training programs there, and I watched the recruitment methods. I watched the kind of messaging that was done by many of these private post-secondary institutions and private colleges, where they raised the hopes and dreams of a lot of poor people who certainly did not realize any careers or real jobs from the Pell Grant money that they allowed to be spent in these institutions, and it was disheartening. And that's why I've spent so many years on this. I do believe that this potential scandal is going to be bigger than the subprime housing meltdown scandal, where many of our homeowners were tricked into mortgages and loans that resulted in foreclosures. I have, over the years, involved myself with any number of these institutions, Corinthian, ITT, Kaplan, on and on and on, and the record is replete with what they have done. I take particularly exception to this messaging that talks about how well you're doing for minorities, and how if you are not offering opportunities for minorities, they're not going to be able to be educated or to have careers or jobs. I think, Mr. Alford, you stated that gainful employment regulations will harm minority students. But students attending these institutions are already being exploited. Students at for-profit institutions represent 12% of all higher education students, 26% of all student loans, and 46% of all student loan dollars in default. How would you propose that we protect these students from being saddled with debt and low prospects for job opportunities? And how is it that these very, very mild conditions of gainful employment that was just described by Ms. Spear is going to harm the private school industry? Mr. Alford.
I have a lot of relatives that have grown up in your district, and those who received education, many from for-profit schools, are doing well, raising families and living prosperous lives. Those relatives of mine around 73rd and Hoover and going further into South Central who did not receive education are either dead, in jail, or on welfare. Education is the key. So I don't think hurting an opportunity, a vehicle to educate someone, is a productive thing to do.
I don't know what you just said. I was listening for some facts. I thank you for sharing with me that little vignette about what happened in your family.
It was real, ma'am. It's real.
But you have no facts, so it does not resonate at all. I want to ask a little bit. Well, I have something here. I understand there's been a lot of talk about the rulemaking process. I would like to submit the list of program integrity negotiators. For the record, the negotiated rulemaking included several different types of stakeholders, all of whom stood to be impacted by the rule. The following communities of interest were represented: students, consumer advocacy organizations, 2-year public institutions, 4-year public institutions, private nonprofit institutions, private for-profit institutions, college presidents, admissions officers, business officers, financial aid administrators, regional accreditators, national accreditors, workforce development officers, lending community representatives, test publishers, and state higher education officials. I'd like to submit that to the record.
Without objection, Ms. Waters, and I will point out to you that your time is up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm sorry I was not, Madam Chair, able to get into all of this discussion about short selling because I really do want to reveal something about what is taking place in that whole area. I yield back the balance of